Okay, let's unpack this. You ever feel like you're just constantly trying to catch up with technology?
Oh, absolutely.
You want to be, in the loop, understand what's next, but honestly, it feels like drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
It really does. Information overload is real.
Well, that's exactly why we're diving in today.
Yeah, think of this as uh, your guided tour through everything that came out of Google I/O 2025. It was a lot.
A lot.
So we're basically filtering through all that noise to find the important bits, the signal, from their big developer conference.
We've gone through, well, mountains of announcements, really, to pull out what we think are the key developments, the things that might actually change how we use tech. Our mission, if you will, is to give you some clarity, add some context, and maybe, hopefully, spark a few aha moments.
And what really jumps out, I think, is the main theme, AI. Just much more advanced AI being woven into pretty much everything Google does.
Right, it's everywhere.
Yeah, we're not just talking small tweaks here. It feels like a real push towards smarter models, more powerful apps, and just totally new ways to interact with our devices.
And leading that charge is Gemini. They announced Gemini 2.5, which they're calling their most intelligent model so far.
Yep.
But here's where it gets really interesting. They're trying out this experimental deep think mode for the Gemini 2.5 Pro version.
Ah, deep think. Okay, so what's that about? It sounds like more than just, better processing.
It seems like it. They're calling it an enhanced reasoning mode.
Enhanced reasoning. So imagine, maybe, an AI that doesn't just answer your question, but connects different bits of info you've been looking at.
Exactly. Like finding patterns or solutions you might miss.
Right, so moving beyond just Q&A to something more like synthesizing knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're trying to really get your head around something complex, that could be, well, huge, like a proper research partner.
Definitely. And the Gemini app itself, getting some major updates too. They mentioned names like VO3, Imagen 4, Deep Research, and Canvas. Lots of new features.
VO and Imagen, those are the media generation ones, right? Video and images.
Yeah. It sounds like they want Gemini to be less of a simple tool and more personal, proactive, and powerful. That's the phrase they use.
Personal, proactive, and powerful. That phrase, it kind of sums up a big shift, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, moving away from AI that just waits for you to ask something towards one that's more like integrated into what you're doing, maybe anticipating what you need.
Yeah, I see that. And offering these really advanced creative tools like the new VO and Imagen right within the app.
Exactly. Which ties into another big theme, generative media.
Right, they really push the creative angle. New models and tools specifically designed to, quote, fuel creativity.
We heard Imagen 4 and VO3 again there, but also something totally new called Flow.
Flow. Okay, what is Flow?
They're pitching it as an AI-powered filmmaking tool, specifically for creatives.
Interesting. So AI getting serious about, film production?
Seems like it. A real concrete example of AI moving into these traditionally human creative spaces.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, how tools like that could change who gets to make films or what kind of stories get told.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. Okay, let's switch to something we all use constantly, Google Search.
Ah, yes, the big one.
They've announced AI mode, which puts these latest Gemini models right into search results.
So less just a list of blue links.
That's the idea. Moving towards a more intelligent, maybe synthesized answer. Get this. It's already rolling out to everyone in the U.S. That feels pretty significant.
It really does. AI mode in search. That feels like a fundamental change in how Google sees finding information.
Right.
Instead of just pointing you places, it's becoming more like a research assistant itself, summarizing things, giving more direct answers maybe.
Yeah.
Could really change how we find stuff online.
Streamline it, perhaps.
Yeah, potentially.
Going back to Flow for a sec, this AI filmmaking tool using VO3, they seem really bullish on it.
They do.
Calling it the tool for the next wave of storytelling. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is bold.
Yeah.
But it shows how much Google believes AI can transform creative fields, maybe enabling filmmakers or stories that just weren't possible before, technically or financially.
Okay, now for the power users, the people who want the absolute latest AI, there's something new.
Let me guess. A subscription.
You got it. Google AI Ultra, a new tier.
And what does Ultra get you?
They say it gives the highest access to their best models and premium features.
Right, so segmenting access, we're seeing that across the board, aren't we?
That
As these models get more powerful and probably more expensive to run.
makes sense. Okay, here's one that might actually change how you shop online. Seriously.
Ooh, go on.
AI is getting baked into the shopping experience. New features in AI mode, But the standout is a virtual try-on tool that uses your own photos.
Wow, okay. So you upload a picture, and it shows clothes on you.
That's the promise. See how things might actually look without leaving your sofa.
That's genuinely useful. A clever way to use AI to bridge that gap between online convenience and, actually seeing if something fits or suits you. Could be made for e-commerce.
Could be. And for the developers listening, we know you're out there. Lots of new tools announced at I/O as well.
Naturally.
No.
Got to help people build with all this new AI.
Right. Tools to make building AI apps faster, easier.
And that's key, isn't it? Because making it easier for developers means we get more innovation, more cool AI-powered stuff overall. It fuels the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. And for those of us who are lifelong learners, which is definitely you, listening right now, they're putting something called Learn LM right into Gemini 2.5.
Learn LM. Okay, sounds educational.
Yeah, the goal, they say, is enabling newer and deeper ways of learning.
So Gemini becoming more of a tutor.
Potentially. Like an AI learning buddy that maybe adapts to how you learn, gives you tailored explanations. Sounds pretty transformative for education, if it works well.
Definitely. Personalized learning at scale.
Looking a bit further out, they talked about Android XR.
Ah, the virtual and augmented reality stuff.
Exactly. And bringing Gemini into that world, think smart glasses, headsets.
Right, contextual AI within your field of view, information overlaid on the real world maybe, or making virtual worlds more interactive. That's got huge potential.
And remember Project Starline, that crazy futuristic video call tech?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
The one that made it look like the person was right there.
Yeah. Well, it has a name now, Google Beam.
Google Beam, okay.
And it's all about AI-first 3D video communication. Using AI to turn regular 2D video into these super realistic, almost holographic calls.
Wow. That does sound like sci-fi. If they can pull that off, it could totally change remote meetings or even just calling family far away. You feel much more present.
Right. Okay, but with all this AI generating content, images, video, maybe even these 3D calls, how do we know what's real?
That's the million-dollar question. Or maybe billion-dollar now.
Well, Google's trying to address it. They launched the Synthid detector.
Synthidity, like a watermark.
Sort of, yeah. A new portal to help people identify AI-generated content.
That's crucial. Being able to tell what's AI made and what's not. It's fundamental for trust online, especially with deepfakes and misinformation being such a concern. A necessary step.
Definitely. Now, for the coders again, Gemini Code Assist is now generally available for individuals and on GitHub.
Powered by the new Gemini 2.5.
Yep. And they also introduced, get this, Jules, their autonomous coding agent. It's in public beta.
Autonomous coding agent. So AI writing code on its own.
Sounds like it. Or at least assisting in a much more independent way. It highlights how AI is not just a tool for developers anymore, it's becoming a collaborator or even doing parts of the job.
Boosts productivity, but also raises interesting questions about the future of software development itself.
It really does. And speaking of collaboration, there's this interesting partnership between filmmaker Darren Aronofsky's company, Primordial Soup, and Google DeepMind.
Aronofsky. Wow. What are they doing?
Exploring how AI can play a role in storytelling, in filmmaking.
Another example of AI pushing into the creative arts. Seeing how a filmmaker like him engages with AI, that'll be fascinating to watch.
Definitely. And just to underscore the scale of all this, AI overviews in search, they're rolling out globally now.
How globally?
Over 200 countries and territories.
Wow. Okay. So that enhanced search experience is really going mainstream fast. Shows Google's pretty confident in it.
Seems so. They also gave a little peek at their ongoing research with something called Gemini diffusion.
Diffusion models are usually about generating images from text, right?
Yeah, exactly. A new experimental text diffusion model. Just shows they're still pushing the boundaries on the research side.
Constant iteration. And of course, more AI integration into Google Workspace. That's almost expected now.
Pretty much. More productivity features for Docs, Sheets, Gmail, all of that. Streamlining workflows, automating tasks.
Making work life hopefully a bit easier.
Hopefully. But then they shared this bigger vision. Looking ahead, they see intelligent agents becoming more than just tools. They use the phrase collaborative partners.
Collaborative partners. That's a significant shift in thinking, isn't it?
It feels like it. Moving beyond asking AI to do things towards AI working with us more proactively, more intuitively.
Yeah, like a true digital teammate. That has huge implications for how we'll interact with computers and AI down the line, a more symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. They also previewed Gemma 3N.
Gemma, that's their family of open models, right?
Correct. This is the latest one. They're emphasizing power, efficiency, but also mobile-first design.
Mobile first, okay. And open.
Yeah, focused on flexibility, privacy, multimodal stuff, all geared towards running well on phones and similar devices, making powerful AI more accessible, maybe more private too.
That's important. Democratizing access while thinking about on-device processing and privacy.
And for the businesses using Vertex AI, their cloud platform, more biddies there too.
Like what?
Expanded capabilities for Gemini 2.5 Flash and Pro, including something they called thinking summaries.
Thinking summaries. Intriguing name. Guessing it means more insightful analysis of data.
That's the implication. Helping businesses make sense of large amounts of information, automating complex analysis, more value for enterprise users.
And they're bringing the next wave of generative media models to Vertex AI as well.
Yep. So businesses get access to those advanced image and video generation tools too. Think marketing, content creation.
Could really change how companies create media.
For sure. And security, always crucial with AI. They put out a white paper detailing security in Gemini 2.5.
Calling it their most secure model family to date.
That's the claim, showing they're focused on building trust and addressing safety concerns proactively.
Which they absolutely need to do. Responsible development is key.
And finally, just a mention for app developers again, new features in Firebase to speed up the development lifecycle.
Making it faster to build, test, deploy apps. Probably integrating some of these new AI capabilities keeps the wheels turning.
So if we just step back, zoom out a little, Google I/O 2025, it really feels like a statement, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A statement about AI being woven into the very fabric of almost everything they offer.
Yeah.
Much more sophisticated, much more versatile AI.
Yeah, the big takeaway seems to be this push towards tech that's not just smarter, but really more personal, more proactive, more capable of actually doing things for you.
Exactly. Evolving from just an information provider to a more integrated assistant, or even that collaborative partner they mentioned.
It really does make you think, though. As AI gets this deeply embedded in everything we do online, how does that change things long term? How we learn, how we create, how we connect with each other? It's a landscape that's changing incredibly fast.
It certainly is. Constant evolution.
And that feels like a good place to wrap up our deep dive for today. Thanks for exploring all these developments with us.